She thinks my Shark Tank's sexy. Boy, is it something good about seeing a shutter flick on the big screen or what? Welcome to Miss Marks. I'm Billy Joe, and today we're going to be talking about dangerous animals. No, I ain't talking about your in-laws. I'm talking about the brand new horror movie now in theaters. This is not only one of the better movies that I've seen this year, I really enjoyed this one a lot. This is actually one of the best shark movies I've seen in a pretty good while. And I say that as a big fan of Jaws myself. I really enjoy Jaws. I really enjoy a few other ones. Sharknado, I'm going to be honest with y'all, I always really wanted to enjoy it, but I could never really find myself really getting into it. It's fun, sure, but is it a good movie? Hell no. This right here, this is a movie that's not only fun in its own ways, it's enjoyable, it's got a good story to tell, and it's a really well put together project, all in all. Really succeeds in telling a narrative that not only does it keep you guessing, keeps you intrigued as well. The whole time, I really didn't know exactly what was going to happen. You know, have an idea here and there, but I'm not really sure how they're going to fix this situation. I don't know how they're going to get out of it, or if they are going to get out of it, for that matter. Now, I hadn't heard about this one prior to its release date, really. I only saw it because I checked the Regal app pretty frequently because I'm trying to see what showtimes I can go to do. While I was looking at the new releases for the week, I saw that Dangerous Animals was listed on there. So I thought to myself, I haven't heard of that. What's that going to be? Had a lot of movies in May that I hadn't heard about going in, and went into the theater. Some of them really surprised me in a good way, and a few of them really surprised me in the not so good way. So when I checked in on Dangerous Animals, the only thing I saw, I didn't look up no trailer, I didn't look up no extended anything, no descriptions, nothing aside from what was provided on the app, which shows the general synopsis. Now, Dangerous Animals follows the story of Zephyr and Tucker. Now, Zephyr right here is a free-spirited surfer, and she's in Australia to catch some waves. In doing so, she ends up crossing paths with Tucker, who is a shark-obsessed psychopath that basically captures women, keeps them on his boat, and then feeds them to the sharks. And it says in the description, I do want to let y'all know, if y'all like me and y'all not looking at any specific trailers aside from what's in this video, the description says it's a ritualistic thing. Don't take that term too seriously. There are a few different uses of that term. Sometimes it does mean, but this ain't none of that. It's just it's the more casual term of a ritual. Like if you have a thing where every day at 3 o'clock you go take a shit, that's your ritual. It's at 3 o'clock you're going to go do that. You're going to handle your business. Well, his ritual this is just something he does frequently. So they ain't summoning no shark spirit or nothing. It's a habit, is what they really mean to say. So don't be misled going into this thinking you're going to get any kind of supernatural sharks coming out at you. It ain't none of that. It's very grounded or watered story. It doesn't ever take any insane risks. It's very down to earth. It's very natural, very real. And I really appreciated that they really never lost the scope of what they were trying to do. So, now that y'all know what the movie is and what it's about, we're going to go ahead and take a look at that missed mark method. See where it went right and see where it went wrong. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, it really didn't go terribly wrong in any one place. Now, we did have a few things in each area where it did the overall item well, but there were a few things in that specific item where, maybe we got a little bit of a disappointment that held it back and just kind of kept it where it was instead of making this truly fantastic item. I don't know what the hell I was trying to say. First things first, let's lead with the best foot forward. We're going to talk about the cast. Now, this is what the meat of the movie was. I would go see this movie again and again and again and again, and it's not because of the plot, which the plot was perfectly fine, but it is because of the cast, specifically the man who plays Tucker, the leading villain, who really is the lead of the movie, because the lead, she leaves a little bit to desire, but the real best moments of the movie come from the villain, Tucker. And when he's talking and giving his monologues, man, I mean, it's just, there's some really well executed moments. And I want to give credit to the script writing team as well, because I don't know if any of this is improv, so I'm going to assume that it was really well written in general. But you can write something well all day and night, but if you don't have the right person on there to bring it to life, it doesn't mean anything. I would go as far as to say that I'd pay the full price of admission just to see all his scenes where he's talking. Not even the scenes where he's doing something or reacting or fighting. Just the scenes where he is speaking, where words are coming out of his mouth. Just give me a compilation of those scenes. Shit, ain't even got to be in order. Just give me all those scenes put together, put bread on each end, and boom, you got a damn good movie sandwich. Now, did I just spend a whole bunch of time talking about how amazing of a performance we got from our villain? Absolutely. Are we giving this a 1.5? No, we're not. Why is that? Simply because the leading lady really could have done a little bit of a better job, in my opinion. She didn't do bad. Trust me, if she'd done bad, we'd be looking at a 0.5. This would probably be the missed mark, but she doesn't do bad at all. She just doesn't do exceedingly well. I think there's a few areas where she could have really broken through the barrier. As a result of that, do I think that, she did a terrible job? Again, no. I just think that there were some moments where we could have seen some real emotional breakthrough for the character of Zephyr. And I just don't think we really got a full delivery on that. I think she's capable of it. I think that if she had the opportunity to do it again, she probably could. But I just didn't really get that. Not a big deal, but does prevent it from being a 1.5. Next up, we're going to go ahead and give another star to the plot. This has been one that I feel like I've had a pretty bad run lately. I feel like every video I do, we're talking about the plot being the missed mark. The plot is the missed mark. Plot was bad. Plot was terrible. Plot could have been better. I'm so thankful, y'all. I was getting so frustrated. I'm thankful to finally have a video where we can actually have the plot be one of the made marks. Not the missed mark. Not just a movie where, the plot wasn't bad, wasn't good, it wasn't an additive, it wasn't a detractor. No, this is one of the things that made the movie good. It was really well executed throughout. I feel like the story was well written. I just said a minute ago how I think that the villain was very well written, and that is part of the plot, is the villain's personality, the character development. One of the things I really appreciate about this movie is it doesn't really waste a whole lot of time. We get, first scene of the movie, we get right to the villain. He's right there. There's Tucker. You get to meet him. You get to know him. You get to know what he's about. And you just get that nice little rush right at the beginning. Then you also have the fact that we get just enough time spent on character development, just kind of get that climbing of the roller coaster, that building before the drop, and we can get right to that meat, pun intended, of the story. And in addition, I think I said it earlier, that I really thought that it was unpredictable to an extent. Like, I didn't know how it was going to work. I didn't know how the ending was going to come. Is Zephyr going to get away? Is she going to be unsuccessful? If she does get away, how is she going to do it? Like, there was a lot of questions that I had throughout that I feel like we dived just deep enough to get where we needed. And a lot of nautical shark-eating puns going on in this one. I need to watch that. Last miss mark, we're going to talk about the music. Now, I'm going to go ahead and give another star for music. Now, this is one, it's not perfect because fucking ooby dooby. But at the same time, it's not standard because I really like the way that they incorporated the music into the story. Not just the way that they had the music be so complementary to what was going on in the scene. There were a lot of moments where the music was for us. Not necessarily music that was being played for the characters to hear, but music that was being played for us and the audience to hear and enjoy and kind of get the tone set for the scene and kind of feel the vibe. But then, in addition to that, you also had them instances where the music was being played in the movie. This was music that the characters are hearing. It's for both them and for us. And it does play a role, not only in the story, but in the character development between the two heroes, so to speak. So for that, I give it a 1 star. Time to talk about the miss mark. And for this one, I had a really tough time thinking about what I wanted to make the miss mark here. Because, like I said, everything really does everything well. It doesn't do anything perfect, but it does everything well. And at the same time, everything that it does well, it does have a little bit of an inconsistency and a flaw. So which one of them things that I really want to make the missed mark? I really wanted to highlight not so much the you didn't do it as well, but the thing that I feel like could be a detractor for a lot of people. And we're going to give 1 more star to the effects. The reason that I put the effects in here, I'm going to go ahead and let y'all know. If you're coming into this one thinking this is a Shudder film, this is rated R, this is something that's not getting a lot of press, this thing is going to be a gory shark bite film with all these crazy blood and guts and body parts hanging out, go ahead and taper your expectations a little bit, because the effects in this one are actually quite minimalistic, which I want full disclosure out there, I was totally fine with. Dangerous Animals uses the personality of the villain, the situation, the scenario, everything. All that is where we get the terror in this one. It is not from the gore. This is not a gross out, gory movie. The shark attacks are really mostly actually unseen. You don't actually see a lot of the biting. I think that there's only maybe really, if I remember correctly, I think there was only about 1 or 2 scenes where you actually see the shark biting somebody. So, that to me, again, I'm fine with it, but knowing the type of folk that are probably going to go in to see this movie, you might be a little bit disappointed in there. It's very minimalistic, but at the same time, it's not corny. It doesn't feel cheesy, and it doesn't feel overly gory that it detracts from the serious, real hard nature of the film, And there's also another message in this movie that I think gets overlooked a lot of times in shark movies. So it really kind of correlates with the message too. This is not a movie that's trying to make you afraid of sharks. It's not a movie that's trying to perpetuate the anti-shark dialogue that goes on a lot of times. So I think that they really wanted to tone down the gore a little bit so as to not lose the nature of the message in the movie. I appreciate that. In addition to that, that also does make this one a little bit more of an approachable entry-level horror movie for some folks, in that I really don't think it was necessarily a horror movie. I think that there were some psychological elements into it, but not something I would really consider a horror up there with a lot of other horror movies. So if you're like me and you got somebody in your party that's not really that into the gory, scary, over, crazy, psych you out horror movies, go ahead and you can probably bring the whole gang to this one. I don't think there's anybody that's going to be really too grossed out on it or too off-put by it. A little disturbing, a little unnerving in some of the scenes, but that's part of the experience, you got to have that. It was one thing I kind of felt not necessarily disappointed, but, oh, okay, we're not doing that. I thought we were going to. That's going to be that I really felt like the minimalistic effects approach was to save it for a real over-the-top grand finale, big bang payoff at the end, where we were going to really see somebody get mauled. You don't get that. You don't really get that. It's really well shot. It's really well shot. Great kill scene. I'm not saying anything negative about it. I'm just saying I was kind of thinking, okay, we're saving the budget for the big bang at the end. We were not. We were not doing that. It's very minimalistic throughout, and that's okay. Billy Joe appreciates it. I think you will appreciate it too once you actually get yourself in the theater and start watching it and understand what we're really doing here. The dangerous animals, it ain't the sharks. No, it's us. Speaking of the payoff at the end, that was one of the things about the plot I forgot to mention that kind of kept that from being a 1.5. I didn't necessarily care for the ending. I was guessing. I kind of had some preconceived notions on how I thought it was going to end. I definitely had some preconceived notions on how I wanted it to end. And, so just don't get anything in your head set in stone on how you think it's going to go, because it may not go that way, and that might cause you to be a little disappointed into it. But I really don't think that the ending actually fits with the tone of the movie. I don't feel like it fits with the way that we were going throughout the whole movie. I think this was one where you could have kind of taken a little bit of a left turn, but we didn't, and I'm all right with it. In my head, it happened the way I wanted it to, and that's enough for me. So that's going to settle it. We got a final rating of 4.0, and that's going to give this one an off mark. Not quite a bullseye, because it does do a few things inconsistently throughout, but it does everything really well. And I think y'all should go see this one in the theaters. For one thing, you're supporting a smaller budget, less advertised film. Makes it easier for them to get things like this in the theaters in the future. On top of that, it's an original idea. We've had shark movies before. It's nothing new there, but I've never seen this plot, this narrative, and these characters before. It's not a reboot. It's not a rearrangement. None of that. This was a unique idea that somebody put together, and I think it should be supported. It deserves to be supported. And it's entry-level horror enough that I think you could bring a lot of people to it. So pack your friends in the car, go on to meet at the movie theater, have yourself a nice evening, and check this one out, because this one's really worth it. Speaking of worth it, I hope that you found this video worth it. And if not, I don't know why you're still here, but I appreciate you. If you did find it worthwhile, then I hope you'll leave me a like, subscribe. Go ahead and leave a comment down below too. Let me know if you're going to see this one in theaters or if you've already seen it and what you thought. Until next time, y'all, I'm Billy Joe, and in the case of dangerous animals, I did not leave the theater feeling like I missed mark, not one bit.